Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is something actually that just came to me today really, as I was on a walk and I was kind of praying and I was thinking about things. And this idea of obedience came to my mind, and so I kind of wanted to just, talk through it a little bit and share some of the things that God is teaching me, and hopefully it will be an encouragement to you as well. So first I want to distinguish that I'm going to be talking about obedience in the sense of when God communicate something to you directly to do, not this general idea of like what biblical obedience is, or like the 10 Commandments kind of obedience, or what the Bible directly says is right or wrong, or these moralistic ideas, but rather obedience in personal lives of what God is calling you to do. That might be a job or a relationship, or to sacrifice something or to give something up, or whatever in that sense. That's the type of obedience that I'm going to be talking about, that very individualistic type of obedience. And I've just found that as I was thinking about it today, that I have this pattern of when I feel like God is kind of tugging in my heart, and I feel this pull from the Holy Spirit to do something, that might be some sort of life change, that might be even just like having a conversation, just being like, you should talk to that person, you should just start up a conversation with them. I immediately go to, what are the ramifications going to be if I do this? And in that example of talking to someone, my response is, well, they're probably going to be like, why are you talking to me? I don't know you. Please stop. Or they're going to shut me down, or I'm going to feel really embarrassed, or I'm going to feel really uncomfortable. I'm going to make them feel real uncomfortable, or something like that. And I kind of tend to talk myself out of it. And that's just a small example. But, sometimes there are bigger things that, God is saying, I want you to do this with your life. I want you to make this change in your life. And I've noticed that I'm immediately like, what are the consequences going to be though? Like, this isn't going to work out for me. This isn't going to be a success. And just reflecting on that today, I kind of had this idea that, our success is not necessarily God's success. What we view, or what the world views as success, a huge following, or, money or power, or whatever it might be, is not necessarily what God is after. In fact, it's probably not what God is after. And so if God has called me to do something, and I don't see success in the way that I think success should be, I immediately deem it as a failure. And I'm like, why did you even have me do this in the first place, God? Or did I misunderstand you? Or, what's going on? And, personally for me, I had this area where I felt like God was really pushing me and really leading me to be obedient in this one area of my life. And it just kind of fallen flat. It didn't take off. It wasn't a huge success in the way that I anticipated it to be. And I think, at least for me, I have this idea like, okay, I'm going to have this like Moses moment where I respond in obedience. I might push back a little bit, but I'm going to respond in obedience, and I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to change the world. I'm going to lead the next great exodus, so to speak. That's clearly hyperbole, but I think in my personal life, in my circle of people that I have influence over, if I'm being obedient, that there's going to be this great wave of influence, and that there's going to be like great change. And that doesn't always happen. And in reflecting in this personal, or in this specific situation, I was like, why did you even have me do that, God? Like, it didn't work out. It wasn't like, people didn't really want to do it. It wasn't a huge success. And I felt I felt God telling me, it doesn't matter what they did. It matters what you did. I asked you to do this. I wanted you to be obedient. And all that matters is that you are obedient. And I was like, okay. And I think a lot of times that's really what it is. And I think of, a story that I've always had a problem with, and to be completely transparent, still kind of have a lot of questions about. It's going to be one of the first things I ask God when I get to heaven, is the story of Abraham and Isaac, and God leading him to sacrifice his son after, I'm going to bless you with a son, and then saying like, no, I want you to sacrifice your son. Like, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole different time. But like, I think it's that idea of like, sometimes God just wants us to say, okay, and not think about like, wait, is this even going to work out? Or like, why am I doing this? But truly just responding in faith. I think that obedience is truly the beginning of faith. You have to do everything in faith, because it can't be like, wait, because if I do this, then this person's going to say this, or if I do this, then my life's going to change, or whatever. It's just like, okay, if you want me to do that, God, I'll do it. And we step out in faith, and that's when God can really work. And sometimes it isn't what we think it's going to be. Sometimes it's so much greater than we think it's going to be. And, on the other end, I think a lot of times I will talk myself out of doing what I know that the Holy Spirit is leading me to do. And I just think back on those things. There's some things that I remember vividly that I know God wanted me to do that, and I didn't do it because I was scared. And I just think of, what did I miss out on? What did I miss out on witnessing? What cool thing and amazing thing could God have done through me if I had just responded in obedience? So anyways, thank you for listening to me as I externally process, what God is teaching me. I hope that this is something that is an encouragement to you. I hope that it can challenge you and your thinking. And let me know, either personally or in the comments, maybe sometimes that, you've responded in obedience and how you've seen God work, whether a very personal level, or maybe it's been on a bigger scale, that's been more public. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, especially these videos are very personal to me, very close to my heart. And so those of you that watch these are the real ones. I really appreciate it, and I will